This is Acofae. Laura Marie and Jessica Marie proudly present A Court of Fandoms and Exploration, a podcast. Fair warning, everything the hosts say is explicit, full of spoilers and adult content and shall not be used against them. They have opinions. Let's try not to drag anyone for expressing themselves and just have fun for an hour. We all deserve it.
This episode contains spoilers from the first 2 episodes of Roswell with mentions of My So-Called Life, Vampire Diaries, True Blood, and Dexter. For full list, please see show notes.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to A Court of Fandoms and Exploration, your weekly deep dive into the fantasy, literature, and fandoms that we love. I'm Laura Marie.
And I'm Jessica Marie.
And today we are discussing the 1999 WB cult classic. Cult classic, people. This is Roswell.
Not to be confused with the CW's remake of the same show, Roswell, New Mexico, but it's under the same premise, really. And we're going to be chatting episodes 1, which is our pilot episode, and episode 2, because it gives us more context. But this is one of your favorite shows.
So yes, me, Laura Marie, I did this. I pitched this. So Roswell is one of my favorite shows of all time. I absolutely love it. It's a comfort show for sure. I watched it live when it was on air. It was like this whole thing, right? So recently, because it's 2025 and I needed some comfort because like shit's wild. And I turned on Roswell and I got like 3/4 of the way through the pilot and I was like, damn, I would love Jess's take on all of this. Absolutely. So I texted her and I was like, hey, and she was like, you want to watch this, don't you? And I was like, yeah, I absolutely do. Absolutely do. She like stopped me dead in my tracks and was like, all right, fine, we'll put it on a schedule. So I didn't have to do a lot of work. However, I did pitch episode 2. And for me specifically, I pitched it because it includes the unskippable intro that is the Roswell intro with the Dido theme song. It's so fucking good. I watch it every single time. It's amazing. And I knew that that was something that you needed to see because the title of this episode, what is it, Jess?
Men don't yearn anymore.
Men don't yearn anymore. Jessica Marie, how do you feel about men yearning in these 2 episodes?
Well, thank God it's there. And I feel like, you know, when people have been talking about recently, people have been talking on socials recently about like, oh, men don't yearn anymore. Men don't yearn anymore. And I was thinking, you know what? This probably has a direct correlation with how much I love reading romance, how much I love reading like rom-coms. And because the yearning is there. And I think a lot of people can say like, oh, you know, we love men written by women because the men written by women are written with yearning. And so when we have these 2 episodes for Roswell, literally the second bullet point after noting that Katherine Heigl is in this, it was yearning with multiple exclamation points right after it, to which prior to recording, Laura and I were discussing, she says the first thing, she goes, yearning. And we were both on the same exact page where we were in our notes. And she goes, this is one of my first notes. And I go, same. And they don't yearn. And there's a different level of yearning because this is that high school yearning as well. And we've discussed this on the podcast multiple times previously, that yearning in high school is also a whole different level because it's the end all be all. Your emotions are high, feelings are big, everything's amplified. And now you have sci-fi involved. You have an extraterrestrial being who is yearning for you since the moment he saw you because you showed him kindness once, probably.
And here's the thing. Their chemistry, to me, my opinion, phenomenal. The intensity, the eye contact, the oh my God. And then, okay, they don't make shows like this anymore. I'm going to come out and say it. They don't make shows like this anymore. I'm biased because I love it so much. I love it so much. And we will get into it. But the music, the way that the music comes in, the way that it swells, the little like tinklings of music that are scattered in, it's just like so perfect. And I really feel that. So here's the last thing I'm going to say about it. Jess is talking about men written by women. Here's the thing.
Here's the kicker.
Here's the kicker that like, oh God. Jason Katims is all over Roswell. It is his baby. He writes the episodes, producer, all the stuff. Who the fuck is Jason Katims? Okay. Well, Jason Katims is the story editor of 10 episodes of My So-Called Life, the executive story editor of 8 episodes of My So-Called Life, and writer of 3 episodes of My So-Called Life. So, the yearning that we love, the feelings, the teenage angst, the self-discovery, the beautiful shots, honestly, the way high school is portrayed, everything that we love in My So-Called Life is here in Roswell, plus aliens. Like, I'm sorry, I was so hooked. Every moment of this pilot is like burned into my memory. I remember where I was sitting. I remember the TV. I remember just taking it in and being like, well, this is something that I have never seen before. What is this going to be? And then it was just incredible.
And in a drama format too, a drama format, teen format. Because
seriously, as well. It's not a comedy. Like we're in it and the feelings are big and important and they're not dismissed. And that's clear within these first 2 episodes.
And even with like the context of sci-fi and, aliens, it also didn't skew to horror either. Because I feel like those are the 2 typical genres when you explore space will fall under those 2, aside from sci-fi, obviously. But like go the comedy route or go the horror route. So to have this as like a serious drama for years, because this ran from 99 to 2002, like I can see, just like you said, they don't make them like they used to. I don't feel like and I say this with finally finishing, I don't think we've announced this on the podcast, My So-Called Life. I finished the whole series. Thanks to Laura, we have an episode that we recorded for the first 2 episodes of that show as well. I don't think they make pilots this strong like they used to.
There are a lot of bad pilots.
But the thing is, there's a lot of shows now that they'll drop the whole series. So then does it matter if the pilot's good? Maybe not really, because if it becomes a show you put on in the background, you just press play, next episode keeps going, and you eventually become hooked. But when this was released, you had to have a strong pilot because you had to have the good hook to keep them coming for the following week, because repeats didn't exist. Streaming didn't exist. You had to be hooked and in front of the TV for people to want to talk about it.
And locked in. You had to be absolutely locked in. So, Jess, how do you feel about this pilot? Cold open, September 23rd, my journal. 5 days ago, I died. Like, experience this.
It's funny because I was like, why is this familiar? This like Dear Diary moment. And then you clocking Jason Katims and telling me after, I was like, oh, okay, there's the My So-Called Life. But in line with the network that this was showing on, this is also very Vampire Diaries Elena coded, because she also, it's the teen drama. Here's what's going on in my life. But the character is trying to make sense of what is currently happening in her life, where we're like, okay, well, how did we get here? And then we flash back. Those fucking tourists that have been pissing me off since episode 1, and I only saw them in episode 1. That should be it. But I mean, that shouldn't surprise anybody that tourists piss me off with me working in New York all the time.
Well, and Taurus, and why are we there? Okay, it is the Crashdown Festival, right? Everybody's there in the Crashdown Cafe. The tourists are there. Liz is trying to, like, you know, finagle them a little bit. Look at this photo. Look at this photo. But it's America and there's gun violence. So a gun goes off in a crowded restaurant and down goes Liz. And this, like, again, I was like, what? Like watching this just in utter shock and disbelief.
I feel like they, you know, talking about gun violence, because that really was already jarring, that they just like walked out like nothing happened.
Yeah.
But the fact that they like it was taken more seriously and not dismissed then. And that was just a small, again, this was like 99. I think Columbine had happened. Maybe if this, it probably happened that spring. When the show came out in September, I have to assume, with pilot season or new seasons. But it was like, how sad is it that that was the refreshing part, that they took it seriously and they were taking statements and they were like, well, let's find the people. But on top of that the sheriff who's in town, who's asking questions, had a big problem, him starting to question all these minors without any, you know, attorney present, without guardians present. It just feels illegal all over it.
I love it. William Sadler, he's amazing. Valenti. Okay, so here's another gasp moment, because I will admit to everybody, I was young when I was watching this. Like, I was pretty young. So when Liz is shot and she is on the ground, she's bleeding out, and Max rushes over and he rips open her uniform and she's just like in her bra. I remember being like, whoa! Whoa!
I watched it now and I was like, damn. I don't remember it being like this for, I guess, TV then. I don't know. Because then, flash forward to she's healed and she's doing the same thing. She just rips off her top and goes, like, starts getting ready for bed. I was like, huh.
All right.
Was it okay?
Damn. But let's talk about this. Let's talk about this chemistry, okay? Liz is shot. She's bleeding out. Max is rushing over, right? Michael's like, what are you going to do? Everybody's rushing out. And Max is sitting here. He's holding her head like, you have to look at me. You have to look at me, right? Like, you have to make eye contact. They make contact. We get this like rush of images of her like as a child, and like the music starts swelling, right? Like the handprint is here. He tells her like, don't tell anybody. Please don't tell anybody. You fell on some ketchup. And he just like runs away, and she's like grasping her uniform. Like, that is a fucking pilot. Like, that's an opening scene. Hooked.
Right after, because you have to remember, because this is a teen show, she of course has a boyfriend, and of course she is dating one of the jocks or whatever, and she's like the studious, going to be a doctor person, and she's there, and her best friend's like, well, how are things going with, the boy? And she's like, oh, like, he's not awful. Like, which, like, fair. But she goes, good for her friend for saying, like, but you're like 16, 17. You really want not awful to be your future. So you already have her like kind of like indifferent about this guy that she's dating. Flash forward to not 5 minutes later where she's having like the most intense eye interaction with this person who she's already kind of giddy about, because her friend's like, oh,
he's staring at you.
Max is staring at you. And she's like, me? No, he's too cute. What am I? Like, she's not stunning. And she's like, I'm just little old me. Like, he wouldn't be looking at me for any other reason. It's the hook. It's within the first 5 minutes. Then, you flash forward to like a title card, I think. And now we're back.
It's like, oh, we're back. We're getting questioned, right? We're getting questioned by the cops. There's Tabasco bottles. What's that about? Like, Liz. And then right here, Liz lies to the cops immediately and was like, no, they were not here. I don't know them. Strangers. Couldn't be me. I don't know.
Which is also like, what's something we always say on Acofae?
Lie better.
Lie better.
And here's something that editor Sam said as well, because from here on out, because Valenti has his own baggage about aliens, and Valenti sees the handprint because Kyle sees it, because Kyle is his son and that's who we're dating. We'll get there. But Valenti has his whole like arc where he just becomes more and more obsessed with aliens, and it just kind of gets in the way eventually. And you're just like, dude, okay, like chill though.
There's always one person, because I feel like Andy Belfour was like that in True Blood.
Exactly.
And then there was the one guy who was like chasing after Dexter because he's like, I know you're doing this.
Yeah. You're just like chill guy. But also, what editor Sam said was, Max didn't do anything wrong. Like Valenti's after this kid because he saved a life, right? Like, but Valenti can't explain it, and he has all this alien baggage from his dad, so he becomes this Ahab white whale situation. So like it's really kind of crazy to see as it goes throughout the seasons. But like Max didn't do anything wrong. Like, what's he gonna do? Stand up in court and be like,
Okay, like I say, but I do think like he didn't do anything wrong, but he also couldn't explain without giving away.
Yeah. He can't explain
like, yes,
it.
I saved her, and I don't know if it'll get to this yet. If Liz, who is the one who got shot, if she was like, lying back and forth, yes, they were there, no, they weren't there, yes, I don't know. She could easily be like, everything happened so fast. You know what? And you all keep talking to me. Now I feel like you're planting false memories. I don't know what's happening. Like, I feel like there's different ways. Again, lie better. But there's different ways she could have explained out of it.
Well, and let's also remember she's 16. So what does she do? She rips off, just as you say, her waitress uniform and stuffs it in her book bag. And it's just like, done. And then we're at school, and then we're in the biolab, and we're having a Twilight moment.
Oh, yeah, because he comes in late, he being Max, who is our savior to Liz and our resident alien. And he has to like leave because he realizes, it's lab day, and we're dissecting, we're looking at ourselves under a microscope. That fun bio lesson. And so she's doing her cheek swab. He's like, gotta go, bye. But he left his pencil that he was chewing on. So she's like, 1 + 1 is not equaling 2. So she gets his cells, but also she's ahead of it because she's also like, I'm following my gut instinct, but also I'm not prepared of what I'm going to find.
Oh, for sure. For sure, because it's crazy. And she looks at her cells and she looks at Max's, and then she has like a little freak out because Max doesn't come back to class. She chases him down. She basically throws him into the music room where Kyle is in there just banging on the drums. Love Kyle. She blows him off. And then she's like, all right, Max, what is this? She shows him the handprint, and Max is like, whoa. And then she just straight up, I love this too, because we're talking chemistry, right? The way that they are talking to each other, there's like this magnetic kind of like pull between them, right? And she's like, where are you from? And he's like, he points, and then he points a little bit more.
That no is so funny to me. She's like, he just points up, and she's like, up north? He's like, it's just like, how often, remember growing up down south when you would say where you're from and they would be like, up north? Like, it was so judgy.
I'm just like, up north? He's just like,
a little bit further. And
I love the acting too, because her face, she's just like, there's no way. You're not like, you're going to make me say it. You can tell she's just like,
she's very expressive.
Yeah. She's like, you're not like an alien. And Max coming in hot with the jokes. I prefer the term not of this earth. And he's like, sorry, we should have joked right now. Max Evans, charismatic king. I love him so much. Incredible. I also like that he doesn't lie. he's very earnest about like all of this. He's like, listen, you can't tell anybody about this. My life is in your hands now. Like you have to understand. Like, shit's getting wild. And my note is the chemistry.
And like, they're not even together yet.
No, they're just talking.
So I know. So, I think what's going to wind up happening is I will finish the show. But how long am I watching? Or you're not going to tell me how long I have to wait to yearn for? Here we are. I was like, we want men who yearn. But now I'm like, but it's 2 episodes. Why hasn't anything happened? And this is coming from somebody who's a Hermione reader. I know they're supposed to be yearning.
There's yearn. They yearn for a bit more. But we have to meet the whole bunch, right? This is our introduction now to Isabel and our introduction to Michael. We're eating tacos. Right, we're eating tacos. We're outside. We are casually using our powers to melt our tacos, Isabel. I love it.
Fair.
For
like,
sure.
She's like, if you're going to have these powers, you might as well like lean into it a little bit, even if it's, amongst the three of you.
Mm-hmm. And this is their discussion of like, look, Liz is going to tell people we have to get out of Roswell. And this is Isabel being like, but I'm popular. I have friends. Like we have a good foster situation. And this is Michael being like, I'm an outcast. You're my only friends. My foster situation sucks. Like be realistic. Come on. And they are 16. It is difficult like to have these types of like conversations. Again, everything is like big feelings. So to talk about like running away for like alien government reasons is a big deal and a little bit more realistic to me than a lot of the shit that happened in Pretty Little Liars. Just saying.
And I also like at the same time, it's like they are exploring options because yes, they need to get away. But at the same time, they realize even though nothing has been pinned to them for something being wrong, it's still like, well, this would bring more attention because all of a sudden we're considered like suspects and people are we're kind of like under a little bit of scrutiny. And then all of a sudden we leave. Like that is actually going to draw more attention because if we didn't do anything, then why are we scared? Why are we running?
Yeah. Yeah. And that is just proven when the sheriff pulls them over a little bit later just to like shake them up a little bit. And the sheriff clocks the Tabasco bottles and he's like, I've made connections.
Why he's so upset. Like, here's the thing. It's like, he's not wrong with his suspicions, right? But
like,
at the same time,
do you care?
Why
do you care?
And again, from like day one, when they were at the table at the diner and they saw the Tabasco sauce. If I saw Tabasco sauce on a table, I'm not thinking anything of it. So why are you?
Yep. Good shit. We have Maria and Liz bathroom conversations because again, my so-called life, we have bathroom conversations. What did he do to you? What happened? Why are you ignoring me? Our friendship is strained. We have Kyle and Liz. I love this. As I said, I like Kyle. I'm going to come out and say that. I like Kyle. I think he is a communication king, especially in these first 2 episodes. He's dropping Liz off after their date. And he's like, you are distracted. You are not here, Liz. And she's like, yeah, I know. And then she hits him with, Kyle, when you're with me, do you like feel things? And he's like, yeah, Liz, like, I feel things. Like, what? And she's like, never mind. Because she had this, like, soul connection with, like, she has
a soul connection with Max. And again, I flash back to when she was just, like, talking to her best friend Maria about being indifferent about her boyfriend Kyle. And so here she is, like, questioning everything because the way she's feeling with Max with minimal conversation is not even a fraction of how she feels with Kyle. But Kyle, she's just kind of with because she's like, well, I've been with him for however long, kind of casually dating. This is high school. But like, I guess that's the right thing to do. But she doesn't feel that way.
Well, and Kyle sees the handprint, and that's why Valenti, it's like another bone given to Valenti. Okay, here's one of my favorite parts of this episode. There's so many, but here's one of them. Max shows up outside of her window, and she's on the roof. He's like, I need to talk to you. Oh my God, say less. They go downstairs into the restaurant, and they start like having these looks, and he starts telling her about the memories that he saw when he healed her. And then he's like, the cupcake dress. And then she's like, hey, Max, fuck off. I wore that in kindergarten. I didn't meet you till 3rd grade. What is going on? And he's like, and then he's so fast with it too. He's like, all right, maybe I can make the connection go both ways. Here, let me touch your face. Oh my God.
Not even touch, cradle. Cradle. Let me cradle.
Oh, child me was dead. I was not breathing during this. I cannot tell you, because the music swells too. The music's like morning star, and it's like da 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 da, and it's like this. It's so gorgeous. And what it is Liz sees herself the way that Max sees her. And she's like, and the crazy thing was, to him, I was beautiful. It's like, yes, bitch, this man loves you.
Yeah, and because at this point, she's narrating, and we're seeing as the viewer like the instances that she's writing about in her journal.
Okay, and then he pulls back, right? He's cradling her face. They pull back the shot. The way that she is looking at him is out of this world. Her eyes are just like her face. And I get it, because Jason Bear is hot as hell, especially here.
Do her parents own the diner? That's
Yes.
why she lives above. Okay.
Yes, and she has worked there her whole life.
Okay.
All right, so we have a very My So-Called Life moment right after this, because we cut scene to the next day and we have a voiceover. Max Evans has put a force on me. And who knew that whenever I would feel like this, it would be with an alien. I mean, we love it. We love it. I mean, that's ripped straight out of like an Angela voiceover. We absolutely love it. Her book bag is missing. What's in her book bag? Her uniform with the bullet hole. All right, that's in the back of our mind. Okay. Alex and Maria still very upset. Okay. This is where the FBI becomes involved. The sheriff is called the FBI. The FBI is coming in and being like, Sheriff, you're dumb. You're dumb, and your dad was crazy, but we're still going to take everything though. Yeah, we're taking all of this though. Okay.
Like, how is that? How are you, like, that's suspicious. Like, this is what they nicknamed your dad, Sergeant Martian. Like, you're going to follow down those same footsteps if you don't stop obsessing. We have these others. And, all of a sudden, Sheriff Valenti is just saying, you told me to call you if anything suspicious happens. I'm doing what you told me to do. Mm-hmm. And now y'all are acting sus.
Mm-hmm. And to counterbalance this, I guess, Valenti has Liz pulled from class, Jesus Christ, at school, to kind of question her and be like, I got your dad's permission, though. He said it was okay. What's going on? The handprint. Kyle saw the handprint. It faded. Oh my gosh, you're lying again. Okay. Here's your backpack. Bam, bam, right in front of you. That would scare me.
She does not know. She did not listen to Acofae Podcast because she did not learn how to lie better.
Nope. Not at all.
Because that was another one. She's like, oh, where you have your uniform, you have this, like, are you missing anything? And then they just drop it. And I'm like, girl, why didn't you like hide this better? Like anything. But she was already panicking because she knew it was missing.
Okay, we're almost like at the end of this episode, which is just so good. Okay, this is again one of my favorite scenes is Liz's crash out in the art room. She's crashing out here. Absolutely. She's got a little list of questions. She wants answers. Max gives her answers, and he gives a little like smile smirk when she pulls out the list. This boy is down bad. It's just so great.
He's so smitten with her.
But Liz is crashing out. She's like, "Where are you from?" I don't know. There was a crash in 1947. We were in incubation ponds. Isabel and Michael are also aliens.
He did not have to give that information.
He's just like, she's talking to me. Yay, I'm going to give her everything.
I was like, now you're blowing their cover. It was one thing to blow your cover, but like not everybody else's. But I also like when you flash forward to like episode 2 where he's like, I've been honest with you. Like you've asked me questions. I'm answering you truthfully, because she continues to have more questions, because it's just like, she can't wrap her mind around it, but she wants to
rightly
keep them
so.
Right. And then, but also has this, I don't want to say responsibility, because she doesn't have to, but the immediacy of feeling like I can protect them. I'm the one who holds their secret, especially again when we go to episode 2 where she's like, I don't know how to get a hold of Michael, but I feel like it's his right to know that people are asking questions.
Gotta go see him. Continuing this crash out, because I think it's so funny. She's like, what are your powers specifically, sir? He's like, well, we can connect with people, as you know. We like it. Flirt with her. And he's like, we can manipulate molecular structures. And she's like, fuck you. What does that mean? I love it. He shows her with the clay structure.
Yeah, she was like, prove it.
and then I also like it. She's like, who else knows? He's like, no one knows. And she's like, you risked it all? He's like, I risked it all. And she's like, why? And then he's yearning again. It was you. It's festival night. This is the last part of it. It's festival night. Maria wants answers. She gets them and she runs out. And here's one of my favorite comedic lines in this episode is, catch them, Liz, we're in a Jetta. Amazing.
Jetta was a very popular, it was an it car.
It was
an it car. You know, when I was a child, not only did I want a Jetta, I wanted the convertible Jettas, like the cabrios that don't even exist. I mean, even by the time I was able to get my license, like they did not exist. I wanted a hunter green Jetta, like cabrio convertible Jetta. It's still like a cutesy little car that I'd still want, just to like, you know, we grew up in beach town. So like to have one of those cruising on a beach, it would have been so great.
Incredible.
When she said the Jetta, I was like, that was great. Their Jeep is very nice too. Highly unsafe for 3 teenagers. But it was very
badass.
Nice.
I love it.
Like, right, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're in New Mexico. Like it's good. It's good. Liz, we're in a Jetta. But we have a plan, right? We have a plan, all of us together, because now Maria knows everything. We're going to throw off Valenti because we're children. We can do it. First part of the plan is to slut it up to Kyle and convince him to meet me at the podium.
Which is so funny because, like, she already doesn't like this guy anymore.
She's done. She's done with this guy.
But I am dedicated to the cause, right? So she does. She's like, being like, oh, Kyle, let me use her feminine wiles to lure him to the festival.
She's like,
it's so great. It's so great.
It works.
He's a dumb high school boy who the girl he likes is giving him attention again. So it works. He goes to the festival. She does not meet him at all. But they're like, we need to concoct this plan. And so you have, they also set up for Maria to be pretend ran over by this car that Izzy's driving. She looks gorgeous in her silver getup, intergalactic makeup. And so they fake run over her. She's in the car. They basically make this ruse that another alien will put their handprint on Maria to heal her from the running over of the car. But it's not the real handprint. It's a spray painted handprint. And then the person who made the mock handprint is dressed as Valenti's son, because Sheriff Valenti, he is on a mission, and he, come hell or high water, he is going to prove that aliens exist, if it's him and him alone, and he's going to go after the culprits and the perpetrators and arresting Max, a minor who has no cause for arrest. I have a lot of issues. What's going on here?
And we have, this is an aside, but again, as a child and again, as an adult watching this, this is all going on during the Crashdown Festival, where we have the aliens being like crash landing, and it's this big like spectacle with fireworks and stuff. The person doing the announcing is Jonathan Frakes. That is Commander Riker. That is number 1 from Star Trek, The Next Generation with Patrick Stewart. So if I didn't already love this show, to have Commander Riker pop up and do the countdown on the stage as the aliens. You watched Star Trek The Next Generation as a child. I knew you watched that. So you knew right away. You knew right away. I knew his voice before I saw the body. I knew the voice.
That's crazy. No wonder you were like, and this is the first episode.
This is the first episode. It's amazing. Come to find out, he was involved in the show, and but amazing stuff. Okay, so as you said, Jess, the handprint is spray painted. Valenti is like, this is bullshit, Max. I'm not going to arrest you. Your parents will have you out in an hour, but like, I'm on to you. Blah, blah, blah. I'm on to you. And then we have this excellent moody shot of Michael and Isabel on the chain link fence. And then Max comes in the middle, and like they're holding it, and they are watching these fake aliens burn, and the acting. You can just
see the pain, and like, cause you have everybody around them cheering at this celebration of this UFO crash with aliens burning. And here's the thing also, they don't know their story. And that's pivotal to the plot, because as much as like Max is sharing with Liz what he does know, there's a ton that they don't know. So like the three of them, Isabel, Max, and Michael, their feelings are just as big as teens, because yes, they're aliens, but they don't know their origin. They're trying to go through their trauma. There might be more family for them to know, who can give them an understanding of what they're going through. And they're surrounded by people who are cheering their family's death, essentially, and that they know nothing about. So like, you feel really bad.
Okay. That happens right after this.
Yes.
It's right after. Dave pops up right fucking after. And if you weren't already like in your feels, this moment, I think, sells the rest of the show, honestly. The chemistry here, phenomenal. The eye contact, he puts her hair behind her ear. It's dark and the music is swelling. There's a firework behind them as they're talking about these feelings. It's just, oh my God, it's just incredible. And what does he say? He says, it is not safe for us. Liz, I wish this could be something more. What does Liz say? I don't care. Risk it all, queen. I get it.
And I feel like at 16...
yeah. Oh, fuck it. All in.
I mean, even now, but like, especially 16, like you put yourself in that headspace. And again, when you're watching this, when you weren't 16, talk about expectations you're setting.
Horrifically unfair expectations. Like Max really just did it, And how do they say it? Like, we're just too different. And then like the firework behind them dies, right? And the music just kind of goes whoosh. And then it's like, thank you for saving my life. And then Max turns around. He's like, thank you. And then it's just, we're journaling. It's September 24th. 5 days ago, I died and I came to life. Boom. That's the end of the first episode. That is the pilot. Phenomenal. Just thoughts.
I mean, I immediately started episode 2 right after it.
Immediately.
I remember didn't know much context of this show. And I had and I told you the bare bones that I had remembered were like some of the key players. And then the cold opening shot of her at the diner. But beyond that, I had no recollection of this show. So it was really exciting to just like get right into the second episode to be like, okay, now I got to keep watching. It might wind up being like, you know, my one show a night that I watch during dinner. Like this might be added to that rotation.
I mean, it's phenomenal because what is it? It is the morning after episode 2, and we start off again, September 27th. I'm journaling. What did Max mean when he said, like, I'll see you at school? Did it mean like I won't be able to breathe until we meet again? Is he also tortured by this? Again, Jason Katims, my so-called life.
And when he was like, is he also tortured by this? And you flash forward to him knocked the fuck out at 1:30 in the morning. I was like, what does editor Sam say? You know how sometimes he'll be like, oh, these are stupid boy games? Like, that's how I felt. Like, oh, stupid boy. Of course, he's not bothered by this in the slightest. But this is also an opening where Michael is crawling into his window and Max is sleeping with a bat by his bed. And he's like, what the hell are you climbing in? Michael had a falling out with his foster father. And he's like, I just need a place to like crash for the night. And he goes, were you sleeping? And Max is like, yeah, hello. And Michael calls him out on it too. He goes, that must be nice. We have our whole world is falling apart. People are knowing about us for the first time ever because of you, because you didn't want to let your crush die, and you can sleep so peacefully. Good for fucking you.
Unskippable intro. Do, 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 do.
Cue Dido, who is the opening song. And you're getting all of these names. You're like, oh my gosh, this person, this person, this person. Damn, like, talk about a stacked list for the CW, I was going to say CW, for Warner Brothers at that time, for a teen show. And you and I were trying to discuss the timeline, but they definitely had to have had the licensing before Dido became who she was, before she was on any of Eminem's tracks, before doing her solo album. So it's so far what I've seen, and I know we just referenced Dave Matthews Band a little bit ago too, is that like, this is steeped in 90s culture.
Yeah, it is. And we're talking about yearning, again, the title of the episode. But the yearning between Max and Liz in the intro, the unskippable intro, is just phenomenal. They're just looking at each other through a window and you can't breathe. You're like, oh my God. And then you listen to the lyrics and you're like, okay, well, I can't breathe. I won't sleep. I can't breathe until you are resting here with me. Are you kidding me? I was a child. Are you kidding me? This shaped me. Like, this is dangerous. Like, good God.
You're like, well, there was never a question that you were going to go the emo music route.
No. Are you shitting me? Oh my God. All right. Episode 2. There's like less building in episode 2 or a little bit more plot, so it's easier to get through. All right. We're calling the aliens Czechoslovakians in public. That's normal. That's fine. I love when Alex is like, what the fuck are y'all talking about?
Well, I think it's funny because it wasn't just like, they were like, why do you keep saying Czechoslovakians when that country hasn't existed for 10 years? So again, back to lie better. Think you could use any code name. I mean, we do it to this day. If your friends are dating someone, you don't care about somebody's name. You give them a nickname. You could create it. All you had to do was like, instead of like the Roswellians, I don't know what you say about people who are from Roswell. You could have been like, oh, the people from, the people we know from Santa Fe, like make up the Albuquerqueans. I don't know.
Somebody,
but you could have said like literally anything else.
Literally anything else. Okay. Talking about, so we mentioned Jonathan Frakes in the end of episode 1. Here we have the queen, Miss Julie Benz. Miss Julie Benz as our substitute teacher, Miss Topolsky. Julie Benz, you will remember as Darla from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Julie Benz is all over the WB. in this particular role, she is a substitute teacher and she's bad at that. And it's revealed at the end of the episode that she is a quote, quote, guidance counselor who takes her job very seriously.
Yeah, that I didn't, even when with that, I didn't believe it for shit. I still don't. I haven't seen past episode 2, but you're going to tell me, I mean, right away, Liz clocks her and she's like, oh, I'm your substitute teacher. The 3 angles of a triangle are 380. And Liz says, think the fuck not. Mm-hmm. It's actually 180. And she's like, oh, you're right. Like after some back and forth. But then like, your friend Michael is very much in trouble at the end of this episode. Like no, because what are you telling me? You're a sub and all of a sudden you have access to these kids' personal files. No. Absolutely not.
Nope, absolutely not.
And why would you fucking care if you're a sub?
Yeah, you wouldn't care at all. Trust me. So we have the FBI sitting in at the police station. They are observing. Nothing suspicious here. Valenti's like, get the fuck out of here. And he's like, Okay. Here's one of my favorite lines in this episode is Liz and Maria are kind of winding each other up about Topolsky being like too interested in Michael. And they're like, secret government alien hunters. And we mustn't, Maria. And Maria is like, mustn't?
I thought that was so funny.
It's one of those things that is just like, that's a quality kind of TV show to me, where it's like the characters go, it's like, yeah, and then the other character's like, what the fuck are you, what? No, it's almost like in that first season of Euphoria where the teens are really talking as teens. It's just, right. It's just one of those things that you really notice. And it's just really funny here because she's all wound up and Maria's like,
when have you ever spoken like that before? Right.
It's like, come on. But they're talking about like we need to bring Alex in to this alien situation. And Liz is like, how about no? How about no about that?
Yeah. What's his role in everything right now? I know we haven't really gotten it, but I know that they're from the pilot episode. He was like, if you're lying to, Maria's my best friend too. If you're lying to her, you're also lying to me. So why don't you tell me? Like, are they supposed to be this like best friend trio before all of this happened?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's why Maria's like, he needs to know. And Liz is very much like, you're not even supposed to know. So we can't keep going wider with this information.
Yep.
Okay.
We have Kyle trying to communicate to Liz when they see each other in the hallway. Again, I have nothing but empathy for Kyle. I really dig him because Kyle is like, hey, Liz, look, I know that we were really casual in the summer and like, that's cool. I understand that like we're casual now and like, that's fine. I kind of want to be a little bit more, but you made plans with me a few times. You were late. You weren't involved. And you lied to me for some things. And I don't like that. I don't think that is respectful. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And Liz is like, Kyle, I don't have time for this right now. And fucking leaves him. And he's just like, and honestly, what else could he do? He as a 16-year-old football boy, he is sitting there being like, this is how I feel, Liz. And Liz is like, you're not an alien, sir. I have government conspiracies to handle right now.
That are true, that are going to be true, that she's believing. But
uninterested.
It's also like, he's also like a 16-year-old football player who also went to his friends to be like, this really upset me. Like, maybe talking this out, like maybe he was a little bit more emotionally mature than I realized because he went to his, and I was talking to like Rocco or whatever. Yeah, the guys in the locker room, and they're kind of on the same page with me that like, so I do, saying it out loud, I do have to give him credit because his guys weren't like, fuck this bitch. They were like, well, why don't you talk to her?
Yeah, like maybe like she's a nice, like she's a good girl, like nice girl, like maybe something's going on. Like just talk to her. Like, and here's the other thing: small town. They have all known each other their whole life. That's another like huge part of all of this. So like Max, Liz, and Michael, or Max, Isabel, and Michael showed up in 3rd grade, but like everybody else was preschool and from then on. So that's something.
And that's one of the things that Liz says, because the tourists are in town. They're like, oh, you, what do you know about? And she's like, I am 4th generation in this town. I am not leaving. And you know the same thing from from Kyle's dad, because his grandfather was the sheriff. So it's like multi-generations who have lived, like born and raised in Roswell.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we have Topolsky having Michael's file, and Liz clocks that. That's why she leaves Kyle here. And she's like, oh my God. And she runs into Topolsky, and Topolsky drops I have a photographic memory. Won't be important. Not important. Not important. And Liz is like, all right, fine. No cell phones. No cell phones here. Liz can't be like texting Michael to be like, hey, Michael, the new substitute teacher is being really weird and she has your file and she's asking a lot of questions. She doesn't do that. She can't do that. So what does she do? She runs over to Michael's house. Runs over to Michael's house.
And this isn't the first thing that like also gave Liz some like warning flags, because also Michael wasn't in class and then was giving Max the like 3rd degree of where's Michael, this, that, the other thing. And you know what? People might say, you know, oh, so, you know, they, especially when it comes to anxiety, and people will be like, oh, you're being overly anxious. You're overthinking. That's just your anxiety. I'm sorry. Max isn't being anxious enough. They are getting clocked for being aliens and they're suspects. You are not being more anxious, especially for your friend.
Especially for your friend. Now, Jessica Marie, I know that you know that during this time, it was business casual to the club. So
was it?
It was. So when Isabel shows up in that black pencil skirt with that animal print.
Oh, we love it. You knew that cheetah print.
Yeah.
I wore cheetah print the other day when my picture.
I was like, ooh. She's like, I'm going on a date. I was like, yes, you are. Yes, you are.
You want to know what else I want to talk about, Miss Isabel Evans, Katherine Heigl, when you're 16 and you're trying to flirt at the police station with these grown-ass men.
I'm not mechanical.
I'm not mechanical. Can one of you guys help me with my car?
So funny. So funny. Oh, my God.
And they fucking bought it. Men are gross.
Men. Speaking of men, Max sends Liz a note that says, meet me in the eraser room. And the eraser room has all of these connotations that Max is like oblivious to. And Liz starts freaking out. And Maria's like, you know what happens in the eraser room? Your innocence is lost in the eraser room. And Liz is putting on lipstick and like fluffing her hair.
Okay, question. Is the eraser room used to be where people would bang out erasers on a chalkboard?
Yeah, you do.
Eraser rooms exist. I didn't know if it was like...
But they have vacuums. That's why Max is like vacuuming it when she opens the door.
Oh, because I know there in a time of yore, there were chalkboards and then you had like the special chalkboard erasers, but I've never heard of the context eraser room ever. So I was like, but of course this is like Mean Girls and they're like, oh, they're making out in the whatever, you know, your closet or whatever. So, of course, like, that's where she's like, this is what's going to happen.
And then, of course, Max is just like, absolutely not. This room overlooks the office that Topolsky is using. Let's spy on the teacher. He's like, we might be here a while. And she's like, It's so funny. It's so funny. It's so high school. She like punches his shoulder and calls him a jerk. Like it's adorable. It's adorable. But they do talk like a little bit too. Liz feels that she is known by everybody in town because like she's a waitress at the Crashdown. Her parents own it. And like everyone has known her whole life and they comment on like everything that she does. she wishes that she had the freedom to be invisible. And then Max is saying, like, I wish I didn't have to be so invisible. And then they're looking at each other and it's chemistry, right? It's chemistry. And they're like, ooh, and it's so intense and the music, but then it's like, bop, bop, bop from the other room and they're spying on Topolsky. They're spying on Topolsky. What are we going to do? We have, though, this episode's kind of short. We have plans.
Feels short, but I feel like it's because it's like a lot of it's a lot of plot.
Yeah,
like it's not the building because it's just like we have the sub. The sub is getting information about Michael. We need to know what she knows. So then flash forward to, okay, so it's not just me with these like crazy suspicions that Liz is saying. Like now it's backed that she has Max there. And now she's going to go to Michael's trailer, after school. So they give Michael the heads up. Hey, don't know what's going on. But she was asking a lot of questions. We're following because at this point, Liz has already gone to Michael to say like, hey, FYI, it's pretty sus. And then it gets doubled down when Max is like, yeah, so she wasn't exaggerating. Like, this is happening. She's going to go talk to your foster dad. And now, like, just don't be there. Just meet up with Isabel. Don't be there and we'll figure it out. But we'll tailor. So then Max and Liz trail the quote unquote guidance counselor / substitute teacher and trying to see like, well, what is she asking? But who's tailing them is also Kyle. Kyle's like, what's this girl that I'm casually seeing? I find her in the band room with him by himself. Like she keeps running off on me. Like something's like, then she bails on me at this Crashdown festival. Like something's up there. And so he's trailing that. Everybody's trailing each other.
And it's actually, I think it's hilarious too, because Kyle sees like a lot of miscommunication happening in the van. He thinks that Liz is giving Max like just this huge blowjob. Just like, he's like, come up, Liz, like, come up, like, God. And then he's like, ah, and then he runs over there and he sees that like absolutely nothing is going on. And then he's like, wait, what are you guys doing here? And they're like, shh. And then Topolsky comes out and they grab him and like bring him down into their little circle. And he's like, what are we doing at like top volume?
You're so dumb. You are so dumb, Kyle.
You're like, Kyle, come on. I thought you were a sheriff's son. Like, read the fucking
He's
room.
dumb. No, he's not, because he goes and runs off and tells Daddy about everything.
Oh, it's so funny. Oh, it's so funny.
Kyle, another one who doesn't know how to lie better.
No,
Episode
he does
2.
it. He does it. He's like, you're going bowling? Oh, it's hilarious. Okay. So after this, Max is like, we should get lunch, Liz. Not a date, but like lunch. And she's like, lunch. Okay, sure.
Like in the calf, like not even like
in the calf.
It's just like, do you want to sit with the cafeteria table with me?
Like,
that's what it is.
It's like, okay,
but again, it's high school.
It's high school.
Like that's a big ask.
Yeah.
That means you're going outside of your normal sitting culture, and you're sitting with each other. Like that's a big ask still.
Mm-hmm. And then after this, Isabel tells Max that Michael has broken into the police station. Michael is breaking into the police station and he finds the key that Valenti had hid in his thermos and has a vision of a geometric dome that becomes very important later. And Isabel is distracting Valenti, as we mentioned earlier, with the flat tire. And Max and Michael escape the police station. They jump into the trash, right? No one else has a vision when they touch the key. Valenti finds...
I have a question.
No,
sorry.
Yeah, go.
The geometric shape that he saw, I'm just remembering, those are the geometric shaped cells that we have from episode 1.
Ha-ha!
I just realized when you were like geometric dome, I was like, wait, that shape.
Yeah. It's like, ooh, okay.
Connections.
Connections. And then we have Topolsky revealing that she's the guidance counselor. The Valenti realizes that the key has been taken, and then we have flashes of people, right? Like Kyle his feelings are hurt and he's like kind of suspicious, and like Michael is alone, and like Max and Liz are looking at each other, and there's there's chemistry. And then we end it with Liz being like, and secrets, everybody's got their secrets. Then she goes, the smallest of small town girls has something to hide too. It's like, ba, ba, ba. I love it. Oh my God. Amazing.
I just want to wrap this episode so I could go watch episode 3. But then the other part of me was like, I have to it's another show to get sucked into.
Yeah.
And that's also what's really fun, because I feel like, and I don't know if this conversation is being had on socials, but I feel like nothing is good and hooking me, but all the old shit is how I'm currently, I continued our True Blood and I'm somewhere in season 3. I think I'm wrapping season 3 going into season 4. This is another one. I finished My So-Called Life. All of the old shows I'm able to sit through, and nothing is sticking with new shows.
That is not an uncommon theme. And something that just me personally, I have found to be very true. The only thing that really stuck with me recently has been Severance. Everything else is just kind of blah, blah, blah. But again, the old stuff, because I am also compelled immediately to start episode 3. I was watching Farscape the other day. It was just it's the old stuff is really getting to me. And I think that could also just be I'm getting old. So it's a comfort in the old things. But also, it's not made the same anymore.
Yes, but I could also to counter that, because how they talk about music that you listen to in these pivotal years of your life, that always winds up being something that you'll go back to comfort. But the same could be said about shows and rewatching comfort shows. But I'm also a good example that I didn't watch this show, and I'm watching it with fresh eyes. And there are a couple shows where I've asked you, I'd be like, should I watch that? And I know that they were pivotal for you growing up, but you were like, it's not going to hit the same because we are in 2025 compared to watching it live. But this is still very much something that I feel that even though, this show came out in 99, it's currently 2025. It still feels very relevant, which also makes sense why when it was remade in the context that it was, kind of the messaging was more or less the same. And kind of still, when you talk about media being, political, reading is political, and you can use that scope with this show in that same vein.
Yeah, the new Roswell that did ultimately get canceled too, is good. It's very good. It is. Here's the thing. They're older. They're aged up. They are adult as fuck there. They're late 20s.
Yeah.
Late 20s, early 30s there. So it is different. So, the teenage angst is what I am here for. And so the yearning is different, but the new Roswell is really good. So I would absolutely recommend that. The guy that plays Michael is phenomenal. Look him up. He's just a fantastic.
You love him.
Yeah, he's
you are
wonderful.
Such a huge supporter of him.
Michael Vlamis. He is fabulous. So make sure you check him out. And also the guy that plays Max was, Jackson on the originals, and
the creator, the creator of the new Roswell, New Mexico, Karina, she was also writer, best friends with Julie Plec. That's part of the whole CW dynamic also, where a lot of people start crossing over from one show into another, or relationships are built for some people and it works out better for them in Hollywood. So that's kind of where that string connection is there. Are you going to do a full Roswell rewatch now that you've jump started it?
Okay. Yes, I think I might, but I think casually. And also I'm really going to pay attention to the music, because I have become aware that Supernatural, a lot of the music is being taken out and replaced because the rights are being
licensing.
Yeah. And that's horrific and that's horrible. And I can't imagine this show without some of this key music. So I am interested to see because it's not a very popular show. It's not something that people like fight for. They fought for it when it got canceled a little bit, but like it, so I'm interested in that kind of aspect in it. And I'm very interested, just on like an aside, of licensing and revoking licensing on old shows like that, and what that means and what that looks like and how you get new music in. I'm interested in that business aspect of it. So I might look into that as well.
I have some background too, if you want to know. But you also, with that being said, you also have physical media of this.
Yes, I do. So I could, if I detect something that's like, I don't know about that. Yeah, I could go back and check.
Like, imagine the pilot without the crash into you.
I cannot. What would you put there? What would you put there? It has to be that. I don't know. I find this a very interesting, fascinating part, because music and sound is such a huge part of media. And you know that from, there's a bunch of TikToks that's like, I'm going to put horror music over this scene, and it's going to completely change the vibe. So I am just...
Well, even when we're creating our own content, like us as individuals, and I say this, it's like when people talk about creating the reels, creating the TikToks, creating the whatever, creating the content to romanticize your life, and you're able to find a song that you're like, wait, I want to use this for a compilation, or I want to do a recap with this. We are all finding ways to essentially storytell moments in our lives and finding that song. So like for us to be the creators and the showrunners and the narrative in that way, and then for us, especially like, and then create it in a storytelling media aspect, it changes the whole thing. And then I think of Donnie Darko when we did our split watch. I was so excited, where we did like the original version and then the director's cut. And I was like, wait a second, we're missing a song that was in the original from the director's cut, and the original was just such a harder song. And then the second, I was like, wait, that was so much more impactful. And that was just different versions, not with the licensing involved there. So, physical media, people.
I cannot tell you what it does to my psyche, to my heart, to my mental state to hear you casually drop Donnie Darko lore. Are you shitting me? You're just like, well, in the director's like.
I sound so pretentious.
It's incredible. It's incredible. People, the growth, if you have been with us from the beginning, the growth that you have just witnessed is astronomical and amazing. Oh,
this has probably been part of Laura's, like, part of her, like, every year. She's like, I'm curious what this year will bring, because every year it's been like a new little thing she's brought into my life. So here we are. She's like, I can't believe this happened.
Casual Johnny Darko references. I love it. And talking about the music, the very neat, the most niche part of it. Like, are you kidding me? Incredible. Incredible. So just this is just my last question for you before we wrap here. These first two episodes, we're talking about yearning. We're talking about men. When at the time of recording, you have just come off of seeing Pride and Prejudice in theaters.
I did.
So the feelings, like, do you feel like the yearning that is encapsulated in these first two episodes is something worth pursuing? Like, if you had watched this as a child, would you have been hooked?
I absolutely would have been hooked. And I know, we've talked about like some of the ways I was able to consume media because I had a sibling and then I couldn't revisit. And we had one TV in the house. There is no way that I could have gotten everybody on board to sit around the TV on whatever day it is at what it was probably prime time. So 8:00 at night. Mm-hmm. And that was being generous because I was probably had to be in bed at this time to be so consumed by this. Cause this would have probably changed. It would have changed how I was going into middle school, like how I was going into high school, everything is like rewired, and your expectations, you're like, well, that's that's the standard, obviously. If I'm not yearning and pining and like all consuming, then this isn't. Then what's the purpose of it?
Yes. Oh, what is the purpose? What is the, yeah, exactly. Especially because like you want like a boy that you've known for a long time to secretly be in love with you. You want to be seen in that way. You want to see yourself the way that other people see you. And you have this kind of ability here with this gorgeous man. Amazing.
Yeah. And cause like she wanted it too. Like, I think that's something that we forget. Like, from the first episode where she was like, you mean he's looking at me? Like, me? I'm me. He's him. But I'm just me. Like, underlying, she had it wasn't like a friends to lovers situation. This was something that they were both pining for. But I think she never let herself go there until that moment.
It's so exciting. Just thank you for indulging me in these first 2 episodes. Thank you for immediately putting it on the calendar. You know, I appreciate it. I appreciate you. And I appreciate our listeners for sticking through this episode where I just gush about this old ass TV show. But you know what? They don't make them like they used to. And the men don't yearn like they used to.
Yeah. So anybody who is like, wait, I need something where people are going to yearn. This is it. Take our recommendations. Like, please. It's so fun. So even if you feel like you're spoiled, but like, you're also not. You have 2 episodes to be like, wait, look at them gushing. Maybe I should go and like get some context to what they're talking about. And we can all gush about it together. But with that being said, feel free to follow us on Instagram. We're at Acofae Podcast. We're also both on TikTok, Acofae Laura and Acofae Jessica. We're also both we're all on YouTube. We're on the platforms. We're getting there. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.